Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for watching my videos for Edge of Eternities. And I wanted to go over 3 Edge of Eternity combo decks that didn't quite make it into full videos, but I got some pretty cool wins with these decks. And they kind of worked sometimes, but weren't quite consistent enough to make a full video on, but had some really cool wins. So I wanted to show off 3 of these decks, and I'll briefly go over each one of them and then show you a game with each one. And so this first one is this Monomina deck. I just calling this Monomina because I don't know how to pronounce this card at all. The right hand, which is 5 mana for a 3/4 with flying. And it says you can look at the top card of your library at any time and cast artifact spells on top of your library. And artifacts you control have tap to add a blue. Spend this mana only to cast spells from anywhere other than your hand. So essentially, if your entire deck is filled with 1 or 0 mana artifacts, you can basically play your entire deck once you play the Monomina down on turn 5 with 5 mana, or even sooner if you have some mana acceleration, which we actually do in this deck. But basically the entire deck is 1 or 0 mana artifacts with just 8 islands to be able to cast this. Now the way that we are able to do this, so the mana sources that we have here, there's a ton of these 1 mana artifacts that let you search your library for a land. The Traveler's Amulet, the World Map, the Keys to the House, and the Fountain Point Bell. So these are how we get up to 5 mana, as well as the Moon Snare Prototype, which you can tap other artifacts to add a mana. So in theory, you can even play this on turn 4 and just sort of go off and cast your entire deck on turn 4. Now, the reason these are also pretty good is because they thin out the deck of islands, because you don't want any islands on the top of your deck, and that will interrupt your combo. Also, if you have any additional Monominas on the top of your deck, that will interrupt your combo as well. So the idea was to just play this and then be able to cast your entire deck. And then the win condition was going to be the Altar of the Brood, which is a 1 mana artifact. Whenever another permanent you control enters, each opponent mills a card. So if you get one of these down somewhere in the loop, then every permanent you play, every single one of these you play, mills your opponent. Now eventually you'll get 2 of them, and then you'll mill 2 cards for every permanent that you play, and then 3 of them, as you cast your whole deck, you'll just mill them out and win the game on the spot as soon as you play your Monomina. So that's the idea of the deck. Now, 8 islands was sort of a guesstimate of how many lands you needed to have, like 1 in your opening hand. You would just want 1 in your opening hand. So you mulligan until you have that. And then you used, again, these cards to find more lands to get up to 5 mana to cast this. And then you cast your whole deck. The other cards helped to manipulate the top of your library because, again, if there was any additional lands or copies of Monomina on top of your deck, you wanted to put them to the bottom with Scrying, with the Candy Trail, the Witching Well, and the Sentinel Totem can help you filter through any lands or other copies of this to make sure you can cast your whole deck. And then some additional mana sources actually was the Mox Amber and the Ornithopter in combination with the Springleaf Drum, or the Springleaf Drum with the Monomina, because what happens when you go through the whole deck is that you'll end up, again, getting a land on top of one of these, and you want to be able to use a world map or one of these things to draw a card or search your library, just shuffle your deck so that you can continue to go off in combo. So hopefully that makes some sort of sense. Let's jump into some games and see it in action. A huge thank you to all my viewers who have joined my channel membership. I really appreciate all the support. Members get badges, emotes, and early access to all my videos. Click the link in the description below the video to join and get these perks today. Opponent goes first. His hand has some potential, I would say. Has 1 land and ways to find more lands, so that's always good. Let's go with the bell. Take action. Draw an island next turn. Hold on to the Tormod's Crypt, I guess. Okay, so let's go island. We can play the Prototype. Which kind of gets our mana back. I don't know if they're going to do anything with their graveyard, but we could play out the Tormod's Crypt. Doesn't really matter. Let's play out the world map. And just plan to activate it. play out the crypt. Yeah, let's plan to activate it and pass. Okay, 3 mana, stock up, sure. See what they're gonna do. Karn sleeves, nice. Alright, to activate this, go for another island. There's Altar the Brood. Could get that down first, and then maybe go Traveler's Amulet, activate. How much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 mana available, so yeah, we can do this. I can tap this. We can go land, we can go Traveler's Amulet, Milieu, and search for another land. So now we should have a 5th land if we can find a Monomina. They both scry the same. This can draw maybe more cards though. So we'll go this one. And there it is, actually. So we could potentially go off next turn if they don't do anything. Playing a Battle Crier deck? Huh, okay. Yep. Let's see what they do. Nothing, okay. Well, let's see if this resolves. Mill them for 1. And we'll play this. Auto pay, tapping the Altar of the Brood. So now let's see if we can win. To make sure we tap the right stuff. Yes, that's fine to tap this. Another Monomina. We will scry that to the bottom. And then that's pretty good. So now we can actually cast the Candy Trail, or do we want to just draw a card? We can use this for mana and tap this thing. So is it better to draw or scry twice? Let's do the Candy Trail. It gives me another artifact in play. And gives me a better chance. Okay, that's pretty good. Wishing Well. Okay. Let's go there. Let's see if we can keep this going. Let's switch the order here. So this and then this. So this comes into play. Then we'll just decline. I don't know if they have any interaction. Good, decline. Mill them for 1. So this goes a lot faster if we can find another Altar the Brood. Switch the order there. So Tormod's Crypt is free. Would really help too if we found. Oops, should have. Okay. Okay. Springleaf Realm is good. It gives us another potential mana. In case we. So keep that on top. Yeah, tap that. There's another Springleaf Drum. So we want to make sure we're not tapping. Ooh, there's another altar. Okay. We're not tapping the Springleaf Drums. Let's tap this one. Alright. Okay, sweet, sweet. So now we're milling 2 per permanent. Ooh, another altar. Let's get that on top. Now it's 3 per permanent. They do have a counter spell. Sure. I see. Okay. We can still go. Keep going, though. Decline. 29 cards. Let's see. Make sure it taps that. Okay. Make sure this thing gets tapped for the mana. Traveler's Amulet. And again, tap this for the mana. Springleaf Drum. Altar. And let's see. There's a lot of things going on here. How come we can't choose what to tap here? Okay, that one. That's a good one to keep on top. Tap this one for mana. Okay, this gives us an extra mana. That's quite good. So keep these. Those all are good to have. So an extra mana for free, essentially. And then Springleaf Drum. Let's see if we can make sure it's going to tap this. Okay, let's cast it. Got a lot of permanents going on. And yep, I give up finally. Okay. Nice. On to the next one. Alright, the second deck I wanted to talk about was this Icetill Explorer combo with Head Shredder. Now, it's similar to the other Head Shredder deck that I posted on the channel, but this one uses Icetill Explorer, which is 4 mana for 2/4, and it says you can play additional land on each of your turns, play lands from your graveyard, and most importantly, the landfall ability, whenever a land you control enters, you mill a card. Now, that kind of goes, somewhat infinite with Head Shredder, which says whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from your library, you put them onto the battlefield. As long as there's another land on the top of your deck, you just keep going over and over and over again, putting all the lands into play and triggering your ability, come into play abilities, such as having a ping ability, which is what we're playing. We're playing 48 lands total. 38 of them are the desert lands that ping your opponent for 1 every time they come into play. So in theory, you can just play this Head Shredder and then play the Icetill Explorer, which actually lets you play an additional land from your hand too, or from your graveyard, which is kind of nice. Play a couple lands, mill basically your whole deck, and put all these lands into play and deal your opponent 38 damage. Now, it really kind of depends on the stacking of your deck and the order of which these lands appear. We also do have some Surveil lands, which can help. And these coming into play untapped is very important too, because you need some amount of untapped lands, because you want to play the Head Shredder on 4 and then play the Explorer on turn 5 and then win the game with a land drop, or 2 land drops. You can also crew the Head Shredder and attack and mill more cards that way, so you can kind of get 4 land drops with these going, and then you can also get additional Surveils with this. So this seemed like it might be good enough to just win the game if you have these 2 cards, and to have a little bit more redundancy from father to son, I was going to play with Head Shredder to find it, and just mulligan until you have the Explorer in your hand, and then hope to find one of these, or if it's in your opening hand already, that you have a decent chance of drawing one of those rather than Explorer. So that's kind of my mulligan strategy for this deck. It's a lot cheaper than the other one. Some of the comments was that, oh, all the Surveil lands are rares, and I don't have them, and that's fair enough, because there are a lot of rares. But this one, none of the lands are rares, so this could be a budget version of the Head Shredder deck. That works decently as well, but I found a little less consistent because the Surveil lands actually help you find the other combo pieces, whereas these lands don't. But worked fine when I was able to combo off. So let's jump to a game and see it in action. Okay, let's see if we can find an Icetill Explorer. Oh, there we go. This is a good hand. Don't really need this land for anything. Let's see if we can find an untapped land. One of the untapped. Let's see what we're up against. Storm Chaser Talent. Okay. Well, at least that wasn't on turn 1. But we are in the draw, so that's bad. This could be very slow. Pearl of Wisdom. Draw 2. Otter Beatdown. Okay, there's an untapped land. Alright, that's very good. Speeds us up by a turn at least. And we just have to have them have no interaction. And we'll be good to go. Alright, down to 17. Oh. Alright, there's another untapped land. So, doesn't really matter what's on top at this point. Let's just go Head Shredder. And, see if we can pull off this combo against Vivi. So they need... They can definitely, potentially kill us here. If they just cast enough spells with Vivi, so... Do not feel safe at all. Yeah, so now we're technically down to 10. Okay, tap land. Okay, stock up. So that's 7 damage they have. They need 7 more, which they certainly can get because they have extra mana. Oh, no. Didn't use it. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Okay, we'll go with the Explorer, and then we'll lead with... I think we'll lead with the Surveil land. I think that's a little safer. Yeah, let's try that. And this just automates it. Yeah, you don't have to choose. With the other combo, it you have to mill stuff. So okay, now we hit a non. Okay, there's the Surveil. Okay, so we do have to choose when you Surveil, but when you don't Surveil, it's kind of nice. It kind of automates the whole thing, which is pretty nice. This is pretty cool. All right, the Explorer is working out. I think this is gonna get there. Very nice. There's no clicks on this one. Yeah, this is sweet. All right, except for the Surveils, but. The Surveil is always a choice. You want to leave it on top or put it in the graveyard. This is not a May, so it just says mill. You have to mill, and this also just keeps going. So yeah, I think we got there. So yeah, we can just keep playing another land and. Yep, sweet. Oh man. Yep, and that's going to trigger that, and we got him. Very nice. On to the next one. Okay, last up was this Eternity Elevator combo. This was kind of a janky one, but wanted to try it out anyways. Wanted to see if I could get this card to work and just play this card, get it up to 20 station counters, add 20 mana or more mana, and just win the game with an Exsanguinate or with the Boommobile. So that was the idea of this deck, and there's some pretty high power creatures in blue and black. So the Mind Skinner, 10 power, Ancient One, 8 power for 2 mana, Kalak Scion, 7 power, Rock Curse Rakshasa, 5 power, and the Saboteur, 4 power, and the Sentry, 4 power for 1 mana. Pretty efficient, a lot of power here for cheap, and could crew this or station it up to 20 fairly easily. And then the kind of search piece here is the Transit Mage, which can search up either the Boommobile or the Eternity Elevator to give you some redundancy in this combo. Could also find one of Dawnsire in case you didn't have an Exsanguinate or a way to get the Boommobile. And the other thing I liked about the Exsanguinate was that its opponent loses life. Now, if you had the Mind Skinner out, this says that if sorcery you control would deal damage, you prevent that damage, but this doesn't do damage, it just does life loss. So that was kind of nice little synergy here. This can get this up to 20 pretty easily, and then you can just use this even if you have the Mind Skinner in play. Mana base had to do a bunch of duels because you have pretty restrictive mana with the Mind Skinner, but seemed to work out okay. And let's jump to some games, and jump into a game and see it in action. Okay, opponent goes first. This hand looks decent. We play this. Let's see. Well, we want to play this on 1. Oh, we draw another land, I guess. Could be awkward if we miss on lands, but okay. Intruder takes it out. Well, that is technically another land, but I think I'm still okay with just playing this. See what happens. Try to curve out here. Okay, draw a card. Alright, there's the untapped land that we were looking for. Let's go for Kalak Scion. And then a swing. And then these can get the elevator here. Okay, going for the Saw Blades. I'm going to have to discard a card. Okay. Interesting. Caretaker's Talent. Alright, there's another 1-drop we can play. I don't want to just run this into a 3/3, I don't think, so let's see, let's sacrifice this for blue source. We'll go Transit Mage. Let's see if we can get the win with the elevator. Play out the Sentry. And we'll pass. We'll play the elevator next turn and start going up. Let's see, Fountain Port. Yep, journal. Alright. Do this. And go for an island and play the elevator. Station. And station. And station. Okay, up to 13. So this should be enough to win. Okay, they have another removal. Let's see, this is 6, and then this should get me to 20, right? See what they have. Hopefully not an answer to the elevator. Okay, can I sacrifice to make another 3/3? Yep. Down to 15. And there's Caretaker's Talent. Oh, I should play that before I made the token. Assume. Sacrifice these to draw cards. Yep, okay. Okay, that should do it here, hopefully. Let's see, we'll go Transit Mage, take action. Find Boommobile. Play the Saboteur. And then Station. And Station. And stationing. For tons of mana. Red mana. Boommobile. And red mana. And exhaust. Alright, GG, nice. On to the next one. Alright, so those were 3 combo decks with Edge of Eternities that I didn't build a full video on, but wanted to show off some of the cool wins, some of the interesting ideas that I had for Edge of Eternity combos. Let me know in the comments below what you think about any of these decks or any other ideas that would have been fun with Edge of Eternities. We've got Through the Omen Paths coming up on the channel very soon, so hope you enjoy that. I just want to give a huge thank you to anyone who's joined the channel membership. I really appreciate it. It really motivates me to keep going, and if you enjoy some of this content, enjoy the combos, please consider becoming a member. It really means a lot to me, and you get early access to videos, badges, and emotes as well. And yeah, just really appreciate anyone who's joined and supported the channel along this journey. So thank you so much, and I will see you for Through the Omen Paths.